What's going on, guys? So I have a different video in store for you today. I'm going to be bringing my friend Joey through a deadlift session.
What's up?
Basically, Joey asked me to help him with his deadlift form, so I'm going to be bringing you guys through what I would do with Joey to coach him, and then hopefully as the viewer, you can put yourselves into Joey's shoe and then pretend I'm there with you and like go through some of the coaching points we discuss. But Joey, quick elevator pitch. Who are you? What do you do?
All right, my name is Joey Muccio. I'm from Florida. First off, I just love to work out. We're fellow 10,000 athletes, and yeah, just here to work on my deadlifts. My lower back always kills me after deadlifts because my form is trash. So we're gonna work on that and hopefully get it better.
But that all being said, let's go deadlift. Ready?
Let's do it.
To start out, I had Joey take 135 pounds for a few high rep sets. I basically wanted to see how he was sequencing his deadlift and how he was setting up, since I had never seen him pull before. So as you can see in this clip, there's a lot going on. So his hips are shooting up a bit too quickly. He's kind of behind the bar and not staying over it. And he has like a soft lockout with a pretty wide stance. So he's not really working with his anatomy. So what we ended up doing was we started playing with his setup first. We had him bring in his stance a little bit, and I used my cue for bringing in your grip a little bit in relation to his stance. And then what we had him do is bring up his hips a little bit. By bringing up his hips, that's going to ensure that he's staying over the bar, better utilizing his quads off the floor, and sequencing the knees and hips to work together when breaking the floor here. So my big concern here was to have him take another lighter set, just doing full reps with these setup changes. We have to remember that in movements like squats, bench presses, deadlifts, even if we're tweaking something with the setup slightly, that is going to then ripple up the entire chain. So by bringing in his stance and bringing his hips up, we are now changing pretty much the whole mechanics of the deadlift that he knew. So I wanted him to have more exposure here just to get more reps in before we started adding a bit of load. Because Joey is a stronger guy who I know is going to be pushing the envelope after this session, I want to make sure that he is getting the cognizance he needs to really nail this setup every single time, but then builds some proprioceptive cues that he can then replicate for himself. So when he's training on his own, he can feel confident with how he is setting up and executing his deadlifts. So what we ended up doing to kind of accomplish both of these tasks is I had Joey then start doing a mid-shin pause, so just below the knees. And we did this because I wanted Joey to feel what it feels like to stay over that bar. Check out this final rep here actually. You can see him literally shaking because he is so not used to staying over this bar that even at this 185 pounds, like his body is like, holy crap, like this is a new stimulus, like what the heck is this? But that's where we want him to be. So now from here, we started getting a bit heavier in nature. Because I know Joey is pretty strong to begin with and he likes to push the envelope on his own, I wanted to see where basically form starts to break down for him when load starts getting a little bit heavier. So here we had 225, and as you can see, that was a really strong rep. He stayed over the bar pretty well, and his hips aren't shooting up a ton. Like as you'll see, as we get a bit heavier, you'll start to see it a little bit more. However, with the form changes, his overall deadlift is just looking way stronger. And you can see here, like his hip and knee break timing is much, much better. So this was 245, and then we soon jumped up to 275. Because the 245 and 225 looked pretty good, I wanted to see, okay, where's the threshold? And as you can see at 275, we actually had his hip shoot up a little bit. Great. So now what are we going to do? We're going to re-cue his setup, and then we're going to have us physically use a cue, so my touch on his hips, to kind of keep him in the position that we want. So after that rep where he looked pretty strong with 275, I asked him to add a pause to this. Since his hips shot up a little bit on that first rep, and then his second rep looked better, I wanted him to feel what it feels like to stay over the barbell with this load. So as you can see, that was much better than that first 275 we saw. And even in this rep, we're looking way better with our overall timing. So he is starting to kind of get into the flow of this style of pull. So as he has continued to show that he's understanding and he's adapting quickly to this style of pull, I asked him to get even heavier. And what we ended up doing is continuing to add weight until we started to see some real form breakdown. So as you can see with this 285 pull here, he looks strong. Everything looks good across the board, and the little tiny subtleties that we're looking for, they're not huge to where they're going like so far into a deviation from his consistent form. And then after 285, we took 315 and Joey smoked it. And note that he asked to keep going heavier because he's a lifter that likes to push the envelope. And this is something that I was thinking about as we were working together. So after 325, I was wondering, okay, where's that threshold? So check this out. It's super subtle, but at about 335, he pulls that bar into him and shifts backwards a little bit. Now that was a really good technical pull. However, I wanted him to focus just even a tiny bit more on breaking the floor evenly with the hips and knees. So at that second 335, he did really well. After this, we booked up to 365 because that second rep was so strong. And as you can see here, I left this starting point in because you can see he's taking a little bit longer to get set up. He's fidgeting it a little bit longer. And this is a really good indicator that, okay, at 365, he's starting to feel like he's not sure what to do. He needs to sequence his old way of deadlifting. And that's really important to understand. And that was something that he took away from the session, was like, okay, around like the 350 pound range, that's when I start to sequence my old ways of pulling. That being said, I need to be a bit more conscious of just figuring out a cueing system that is going to work with my setup and my execution of the deadlift. Overall, it was so fun working with Joey, and I had a blast working with him on one of my favorite movements, especially helping him understand like the skill component of it. If you like this video and if you like this kind of like case study flow, let me know in the comments below, and then maybe I could actually open up form corrections to like the community and we can make these videos kind of like a series or a constant thing. Let me know. But as always, guys, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one.